Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. Colorado football is getting more attention than they ever have before, and it's all because of one man, Deion Sanders. The new head coach in Boulder arrived and said, I'm going to do something that's never been done at this university. I'm going to come in here and transform this Colorado program that's been practically irrelevant for the last 2 decades. $1 million question is, can he do it, and can he deliver in year one? Schedule says that is not very likely. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. We're very glad you could join us today as we break down Colorado's schedule for the 2023 season, year one, under new head coach Deion Sanders. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below, because again, guys, here at the Gridiron Expert, football never dies. The college football season never ends, and we want you to become a part of our GE Nation to take advantage of all the nonstop college football content right here at the channel, where you won't get it anywhere else. You take a look at Colorado, guys. I mean, granted, even if Deion Sanders comes in and does terrible with Colorado over the course of his career there, he has gained a lot of hype, a lot of big-time players to Boulder, again, the likes that Colorado really has never seen. A lot of hype from the fan base, from the national media, landing big-time transfers, a lot of which came from Jackson State, but not all. You've got his son, Shadur Sanders. You've got Travis Hunter, but you have a lot of others in Power 5 programs that are transferring into Colorado, buying in to what Deion Sanders is selling. And that's pretty impressive when you consider last year, Colorado went 1-11. The year before, 4-8. The year before, 4-2, a COVID year though, and then 5-7 in 2019. This is a team that, with the exception of that miraculous 2016 season where Colorado made the Pac-12 championship game, has pretty much been irrelevant in the Pac-12 conference. Deion Sanders is hoping to change that immediately. Thing is, guys, you look at the schedule and it looks very unlikely that's going to happen. Again, I think Colorado will be more competitive in a lot of these games than they have in years past, but racking up the wins and immediately competing might be a little too far-fetched, because you take a look at the schedule. I'll say I don't think there's one key stretch of games that will define Colorado's season, because I don't think there are any expectations in Boulder. From a realistic standpoint, no one can expect Deion Sanders to come in here and start winning Pac-12 championships, to start contending for a Pac-12 title in year one. I'm not saying it can't be done, but I don't think that's a realistic expectation. I think the realistic expectation in Boulder is, let's just be more competitive. Let's not get blown out 49-10 to Oregon, 55-17 to USC, 45-17 to UCLA, 42-9 to Oregon State, 63-21 to Utah. Let's be more competitive and put on a good showing for our fan base and for our players. But you take a look at the schedule, guys. Colorado has a very, very, very brutal 2023 slate. The season opens up on the road against the national runner-up in TCU, a team that Colorado lost to last year, 38-13. They're on the road to TCU, national runner-up. No one thought that last year that was going to happen. And while TCU probably isn't going to be nearly as good as they were last year, I don't expect TCU to make the college football playoff again. This is still a road game against a still veteran TCU team that still, despite losing Duggan and Keandre Miller and Quentin Johnston, still will have plenty of talent to get the job done. We're not here to predict any games yet, but that's a tough opening. Then they get to come back home. They take on Nebraska, battle between first-year head coaches, Matt Rule versus Deion Sanders. That's going to be an interesting game. I think a good benchmark for both of these programs. Both these first-year head coaches desperately will need to get a win over a Power 5 opponent. Great opportunity for both of these men to get the job done. That's going to be an intriguing Week 2 matchup there. But a Nebraska team that kind of gained a little bit of momentum towards the end of the year, and I think many would say on paper is the better team. Again, we're not here to predict anything, though, but I think it's kind of where most people would lean. Colorado State, certainly a winnable game for the Buffaloes, no doubt about that. But then they enter Pac-12 play. And look at the Pac-12 slate and say, where can you find a handful of victories? Because the first 2 games of Pac-12 play are against 2 of the best teams in the conference. First one's at Oregon. Again, Colorado lost to the Ducks 49-10 last year. The Ducks returned Bo Nix and had their sights set on a Pac-12 title. The next game's at home against USC. Buffaloes lost 55-17 to the Trojans. USC was 1 win away from the college football playoff last year, the Pac-12 runner-up, and made a Cotton Bowl appearance against Tulane. So first 2 Pac-12 games for Colorado are against 2 of the top 2 teams in the conference. Welcome to the league, Deion Sanders. What a rough start. Then at Arizona State, playing in the desert is never easy, but Sun Devils, new coach, Kenny Dillingham, have a lot of knee pieces they got to figure out. Colorado held their own last year, only losing 42-34, but playing on the road is obviously a different animal, it's a different breed. But it'll be interesting to see again. One thing that Deion Sanders is benefiting from is a first-year head coach in Nebraska, first-year head coach in Arizona State, first-year head coach at Stanford. I think that's about it. But, I mean, he's facing off against teams that are kind of in the same boat as him, which could benefit Colorado in a way. But Arizona State, not easy. Stanford, as I mentioned, dealing with the first-year head coach as well. Very winnable game for Colorado with the game being at home. And by this point in the season, by October 13th, as you've played now 7 games, it'll be the 7th game of the year for Colorado, you'll kind of know what the Buffaloes are made of. You'll know what Stanford's made of. You'll know what kind of impact Deion Sanders has made. Even if the record doesn't reflect it, maybe the competitiveness is there where Colorado's getting close, can't get over the hump, but they'll be able to win the close games, win the narrow games against teams like a Stanford, like an Arizona, guys like that maybe aren't Pac-12 elite, but maybe just slightly above Colorado's level where the Buffaloes could get a win. So Stanford, very winnable game there. Then the back half of the schedule. You come out of the bye week, tough slate to close out those final 5 games. And I think, honestly, it would be considered a success for Colorado if they could win 2 of these 5 games. 2 of these 5 games would be great. Only 2 of them are at home. I'm not saying they're going to win both home games, but if you could win 2 of the final 5 for Deion Sanders, and then maybe you have another 2 or 3 wins in the first 7, maybe Colorado doesn't go bowling. They've racked up more wins than they did last year. They would maybe match the win total from 2021. Maybe they'd be more competitive. People would actually want to watch the games, not turn them off. That's the key, right? That's the goal in year 1. Because the back 5 games, guys, are tough. At UCLA, another team that's going to be contending for a Pac-12 title. Colorado lost them 45-17. Oregon State, they are a Pac-12 sleeper this year. They're going to be really, really good. 10-win team in 2022. Just added DJ Uiagalelei at quarterback. This is a team that is dangerous under Jonathan Smith. So even though Colorado gets to host the Beavers, that's a tough outing. And Oregon State did win 42-9 last year and should be only better this year. They get to host Arizona, a team they lost to 43-20, but an Arizona team that continued to show signs of improvement under Jedd Fisch as the year went on, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And they close out the year with back-to-back road games at Washington State, a team that, again, under Jake Dickert, showed some signs of improvement last year. Especially, again, like Arizona, offensively, Pullman, never easy to play. And then at Utah, a team that returns Cam Rising, one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and is the reigning Pac-12 champion who crushed USC in last year's Pac-12 championship game and made the Rose Bowl. Colorado also lost them 63-21. It's a brutal schedule, guys. The Pac-12 is going to be very, very competitive this year. Maybe the most competitive Pac-12 that we have seen in years. And when you're dealing with tons of transfers, first-year head coach, it takes a little bit for all the pieces to come together. I do think Colorado will be more competitive. I do think they're going to put on a better outing and better performances than we've seen in years past. But to expect Deion Sanders to come in and immediately start winning with the Buffaloes, to start contending for titles, to having them in bowl games in year 1 might be a little far-fetched. We're not here to predict anything. That's going to come later on in just a few months. But the first year for Colorado could be rough. First year for Deion Sanders at Colorado could be a little bit rough, where, again, you hope to rack up a few conference wins, you hope to look more competitive, you hope to lay a solid foundation to keep building as they head into year 2 in Boulder. So once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below, including our expert picks, including our website, thegridironexpert.com, and everything there to help you get through this offseason. Because, guys, again, here at the Gridiron Expert, football never dies. The college football season never ends, and we want you to become a part of it. We want you to become a part of our GE Nation. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.